In this video, we will take a look at the installation experience of Endpoint Security for Mac 10.2.3 on macOS High Sierra. macOS High Sierra is a new operating system that Apple is releasing, and with it, it is also introducing a new feature called the Secure Kernel Extension Loading. With Secure Kernel Extension Loading, the operating system blocks any new third-party kernel extension which is attempting to load for the first time. And the expectation is that the end user give explicit consent to the third-party kernel extension to load. As a result, the Endpoint Security for Mac 10.2.3 also has a few changes incorporated to handle this new feature. Today, for this demo, we will use the standalone installer package and see the workflow. For the purpose of the demo, I have a VM here which is running macOS High Sierra, which is also running the Golden Master image. Let's start the product installation. I will select all these blades of Endpoint Security for Mac for the installation. So during the installation, the user is not going to see any pop-up messages coming up. The reason is that the product does not attempt to load its kernel extensions at the time of installation. As you can see, the installation completes successfully, and since I had selected the web control module during installation, I'm getting this prompt from the Safari browser extensions pane, and the expectation is that I allow the Safari web control extension. So here, this is an Apple requirement that users explicitly give consent to browser extensions as well. So let me allow that and close the browser. As you can see, the McAfee's menulet icon is showing a yellow exclamatory mark. Now this indicates that some features are disabled. Let's take a look. The threat prevention and firewall modules are in disabled state. The reason is that both these modules require kernel extensions to be loaded. So the installer detected that it is running on a macOS High Sierra machine which does not have an MDM profile, and as a result, the installer turns these features off at the time of installation. So the product tries to load the kernel extensions about 10 minutes after installation. Let's close the console. As you can see, without any user intervention, the product attempted to load one of its kernel extension. And since this was the first time that it was attempting to load, the operating system's secure kernel extension loading feature kicked in and it blocked the kernel extension by McAfee. So here's the message that the operating system will display to the user, asking him to enable these extensions from the security and privacy system preferences pane. At the same time, the product also displays an alert to the user, and it additionally has two buttons, the OK and the cancel button. Clicking on the OK button will automatically launch the security and privacy system preferences pane for the user. Now let's click OK on this message and click OK on the McAfee alert. As you can see, the security and privacy system preferences pane was launched for the user, and he now has an option to allow the McAfee software. Now before doing that, let's also try to enable these features without giving user consent. So if I try to turn on the firewall feature, you can see that there is still no user consent for the kernel extension associated with the firewall to load. Hence, the product again notifies the user that the system security preferences are blocking McAfee software. Similarly, if the user tries to turn on the threat prevention module, he would see the same message. Now let's click OK on this alert and provide the user consent. So as a user, I have now given consent for McAfee software to load on this machine. So let's try to turn on the features and see what happens. As you can see, the firewall feature has been enabled and there was no pop-up message displayed to the user. Let's also try and turn on the threat prevention module, and there were no messages for threat prevention module as well. All the features have now been given consent on this machine to load and run successfully. This concludes the demo for the user experience on macOS High Sierra when installing Endpoint Security for Mac 10.2.3. Thank you.